Hey, what's up, guys? Matt Manduke here. Another night recording. I meant to do this during the day, but I'm pumping gas now, which isn't the most glorified of positions. But being that I'm living in a van, it really doesn't matter how much money I make because I've been living on like $200 a month for the past 3 months. So now making $150 a week is, good money to me. Um, Not to most people, but let's face it, my car insurance, my cell phone, and my fuel and my food are the only bills that I have. And being that I work 3 days in a row, that I don't spend hardly any fuel on those days. I actually can sleep in the parking lot. That's not what you came here to listen to. What you did come here to listen to is more fuel economy speaking. And because I'm saying that one of my main bills is fuel, and that's probably one of my biggest bills, let's talk about the way we drive. Now, everybody thinks that if you drive like an old grandma, that you're going to get better gas mileage. And in a lot of cases, that is going to be true. You should drive like that quite a bit because it's a more defensive way of driving, and you can save a little bit of gas. However, if you drive like that all the time, your emission system ends up getting gummed up with all kinds of soot and stuff, and it ends up causing the engine to have to work harder. And what they say about blowing out the engine and like really beating it, it's true. If you baby your car all the time, you can deplete your gas mileage. And one of the things that I do to get every single one of the vehicles that I've ever driven for a longer period of time than 3 months, which hasn't been all of them, to be honest, is the way that I drive. I always end up getting better gas mileage. And I don't mean for everybody to get on the highway and gun it every time, but if you don't ever put your foot all the way down, you will end up causing yourself to spend more gas. Over the course of a couple of years, you can actually cause your vehicle to get lower gas mileage because your emission system gets all torn up. It's also not good for your O2 sensors if you drive crappy all the time or drive slow all the time. It's not good for the mass airflow sensor. Your air filter is going to get clogged up quicker. Your all your vacuum lines get gummed up, and your EGR valve gets gummed up, and that is the main controller of your vacuum system. If we beat on our cars somewhat often, and I'm not saying you should drive like that all the time, but I do think when you get on the highway, if you go from the 10 mile an hour to the 65 that the speed limit is, or however fast you normally drive on the highway, as quickly as you can, that's going to be a good way for you to blow out your motor without having to gun it all through town and blow, go through all kind of suspension parts and brake parts, because the faster you go, the more you have to stop. And so, you do it when you get on the highway. If you do that sometimes, and yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit more because you're going to spend more fuel for being at higher RPMs. But over the course of time, it's going to open up your vehicle. And that's something that I'm doing now with the van. Is I'm driving it a little bit harder because I have a little bit more money from where I'm working now. And driving it a little bit harder is going to allow me to get better gas mileage over time. The last time I actually tracked it, the van got 19 miles to the gallon, and I only used the top half of my gas tank because we already talked about that. That's the best way to get better gas mileage. So if you keep your gas above a half a tank, upgrade your spark plugs by one, use synthetic oil, and always use the extended performance. Time you get to your second change on synthetic oil, you should be running on extended performance oil. With that said, if you're also coupling it with driving a little bit harder, you're going to get more carbon out of your system. Your oil is going to come out looking nasty the first time you change your synthetic out. But it will last the 10,000 miles anyway, and it's still better for your car than conventional oil at 5,000 miles, even though most people think you're supposed to change it every 3. Anyway, I'm going to cut this short, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.